good afternoon. Wherever you are in the world today, thank you for being here. Because showing up for this speech about climate change in 2025 is one of the most important things we can do right now. We are living in a defining moment, not just for our generation, but for every generation that comes after us. In 2025, climate change is no longer some distant theory or academic debate. It's not an issue reserved for future policymakers, scientists in lab coats, or environmentalists holding signs. It's right here, right now, showing up in our weather, our water, our food, our economies, and our health. Climate change has become personal. At first, we talk about real problems, the climate crisis in 2025. Let's talk honestly about where we are. In 2025, we're seeing the direct and devastating effects of a warming planet. Record-breaking heat waves are no longer anomalies. They're the new normal. Just last summer, regions in the US, Europe, and Asia experienced temperatures above 45 degrees Celsius, 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Not once, but multiple times. Wildfires are intensifying, not only destroying forests, homes, and wildlife, but choking millions with toxic air. The Amazon, California, Australia, and parts of Canada now have fire seasons that last nearly half the year. Floods and superstorms are becoming stronger and more unpredictable. Entire cities and coastal regions are dealing with chronic flooding. From Jakarta to New York, glaciers are vanishing, and sea levels are rising at an accelerating pace. Island nations like Tuvalu and the Maldives are literally sinking. But it's not just nature taking the hit. Climate migration is real. Over 40 million people are expected to be displaced by 2030 due to climate-related disasters. That's not a sci-fi storyline. That's tomorrow's refugee crisis, and it's already begun. Food insecurity is growing. Crop yields are dropping in drought-hit regions, while floods ruin fertile lands. Prices soar, and the poorest suffer the most. Health risks are exploding. From heat stroke to waterborne diseases, the climate crisis is a health crisis. Mental health issues are on the rise, too, especially among young people who feel overwhelmed and anxious about the future. And let's not ignore this. Climate change is an inequality multiplier. It hits the poor hardest. It affects marginalized communities first. It punishes those who did the least to cause it. Let me ask you something. How many of you have felt it? That gut punch when you see a town wiped out by wildfire. That unease when winter feels like spring. That moment when your child asks if there will still be polar bears in 10 years. We're not imagining it, we're living it. And yet, even now we still hear voices saying, it's too late, or worse, it's not real. Let me be clear, it is real, but it is not too late. And now we talk about real solutions, what we're doing and what we can do. Here's the part we don't talk about enough. We have the tools. We know what works. And across the world, change is already happening. 1. Energy transition. The shift to renewables. In 2025, solar and wind are the cheapest forms of energy in most countries. Over 150 nations have committed to net zero targets. Electric vehicles are outselling combustion engines in multiple markets. Even oil companies are investing in green tech, not out of guilt, but because it makes business sense. But we need to accelerate the shift, fast. That means ending fossil fuel subsidies, investing in smart grids and battery storage, training the next generation of green workers. 2. Rewilding and carbon capture. Nature is our greatest ally. Projects across Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia are reforesting millions of acres. Wetlands are being restored. Oceans are being protected. These efforts absorb CO2, protect biodiversity, and create jobs. And then there's tech. Carbon capture and storage is evolving, from science fiction to science fact. Still expensive, yes, but with the right policy support, it can scale. 3. Sustainable cities and circular economies. Urban areas produce more than 70% of global emissions. In response, cities from Copenhagen to Bogota are leading the charge. Car-free zones, vertical forests, smart buildings, circular waste systems. A sustainable future isn't rural or urban, it's reimagined. 4th, policy and international cooperation. The Paris Agreement was the start, not the finish line. In 2025, COP summits are shifting from promises to accountability. Countries are now being ranked not just on what they say, but on what they do. Carbon pricing is expanding, climate laws are tightening, and yes, youth activists, indigenous leaders, and scientists are finally being given a seat at the table. 5. Individual and collective action. Here's a truth bomb. No, your bamboo toothbrush won't save the planet, but your voice might. Because when millions act, whether that's voting for climate-conscious leaders, divesting from fossil fuels, reducing food waste, or shifting diets, it creates momentum. You don't have to do everything, but you can't do nothing. So, what does this all mean? It means we're not doomed, unless we choose to be. It means hope is not passive. It's active, it's earned. It's built through courage, persistence, and solidarity. And it means the most important resource we have is you, your skills, your choices, your influence.
Are you a student? Push your school to go carbon neutral. Are you a business owner? Rethink your supply chain. Are you a parent? Raise eco-literate children. Are you an artist? Tell stories that move hearts. Are you a voter? Elect leaders who fight for the planet, not against it. Imagine the world in 2035, 10 years from now. The air is cleaner, forests are thriving, energy is renewable and abundant, cities are green, coastal communities are protected, food is local, and justice, finally, includes climate justice. This future isn't fantasy. It's the result of choices made today, in 2025. So let this year be the year we turn the tide. Let's stop being overwhelmed by the problem and start being inspired by the solutions. Let's act like the future is ours to shape, because it is. Thank you.